Hey everyone, it's Sunday, January 17th. The time is 3:53 p.m. and the temperature outside is 4 degrees Celsius. I'm here at Dupont Station, which is located in the north end of the Annex neighborhood. And the plan for this one is to head on up to Dupont Street, and then I'll walk east over to where Dupont ends at Avenue Road. And I'll cross over and take a rather interesting residential street that was suggested by a viewer in the comments, and I'll take that over to Yonge Street, and then I'll head up north to Summerhill Station. Dupont Station opened in 1978 as part of the Spadina extension of the subway line from St. George Station up to Wilson Station. And they have recently added elevator accessibility to the station, which is obviously a very good thing. So this would be the station's northwest entrance. There's a look west down Dupont Street. And this here is the intersection of Dupont and Spadina Road. Just to the south there at Bloor Street, Spadina Road becomes Spadina Avenue. And just to the north here, you'll find Casaloma and the Spadina House Museum. That is pronounced Spadina. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Spadina Road, north of Bloor, is actually pronounced Spadina as well. I just took my mask off, so hopefully I sound a bit less muffled. This area does have a bit of a rough industrial vibe to it. There's the 26 bus. And in here, there's a pretty neat patio space in the back where during a normal year you'd be able to grab a beer and some barbecue food, but I think this wasn't open for most of the year, of course. It's got kind of a campground feel to it. And just north of Dupont Street, running parallel to it, are the CPR rail tracks. And that's sort of where the industrial history of the street stemmed from, as to the west of here at Christie Street and Dupont, there was an old Ford Model T factory. There was also a showroom, and there's a few other old factories and warehouses along that stretch. Being located along the railway tracks was a bit advantageous back then. Just on the left here is an LCBO, which is a provincially run liquor retailer. They're open today, but I don't believe they'll be open tomorrow. So Dupont Street starts to the west of here in the Junction neighborhood at Dundas Street West. Oh, there goes a Canadian Pacific train right now. And I don't know if you can see it, but well off in the background there is the very top of Casa Loma. That's an old mansion which has since turned into a museum. And this here is Huron Street. You could follow Huron quite a ways to the south. You'll even run through Chinatown. That's probably the most interesting stretch of that street. And over time, this area has slowly been gentrifying. There's more and more retailers popping up. And to the west of where I started this walk, there's a number of new condos and other modern developments going in. I'll have to come back and record a walk that goes along that stretch of Dupont Street. And here is St. George Street. And on the sign there it indicates Dupont by the Castle. I don't know if that's a BIA, which is Business Improvement Area name for this neighborhood. But you could take St. George Street down through the University of Toronto campus. You'll also find the Chinese consulate there. That must be a pretty long train. It's still going. And this is Davenport Road. Davenport Road, for the most part, runs parallel to Dupont. But here's where it runs north and south. This will take you down into the top of the Yorkville neighborhood. And then it'll eventually turn east and terminate at Yonge Street. And then on the other side of Davenport will be where Church Street begins. So this last stretch of Dupont is mostly residential. There are a few restaurants just up ahead here. And some rather interesting homes. Then when I get to Avenue Road, I will cross over and head down a residential street that I've only ever ridden my bike down, but it looks quite interesting. That was suggested by a viewer in the comments of a prior video. Kind of struggling to get my words out today. There is Playa Cabana. I think that's a Mexican restaurant, and they have another location just down the street, which is the Playa Cabana Hacienda. So I'm not actually sure what that particular location is. This here is Bedford Road. That'll run south down to Bloor Street West in the annex. You'll find St. George subway station on Bedford. And it's even the street where Mayor John Tory lives. Here's a home for sale. That is 70 Dupont Street. Maybe I'll look that one up and see what the ask is. I'd guess probably somewhere north of 2 million. I think it's very smart for that guy to be wearing such a brightly colored jacket like that. And just up ahead is Avenue Road. This is the 4th day now of the province's stay-at-home order. And I don't really come this way too much on a late Sunday afternoon, so I couldn't tell you if this is normal pedestrian traffic or not. But just up here on the left is what I think is the last restaurant I dined at before the province shuttered all restaurants from being able to serve customers outdoors, or rather outdoor dining. Here's another house for sale at 20 Dupont. And just on the left here, oh, there's a Peruvian restaurant. And here is Playa Cabana Hacienda. They have a very large outdoor patio space in the back. And they recently opened a new location up at Yonge and Eglinton that I've ordered from a few times. I quite like that place and their food. And again, I don't really understand why restaurants can't serve customers outdoors. There's Avenue Road, and I think this is Sergeant Ryan Russell Parquet. He was an officer that was killed in the line of duty, I think back in 2011, just down the street from here at Avenue Road and Davenport. A stolen snowplow he was trying to stop struck him. And there's the Church of the Messiah and a Hare Krishna church. There's a look south down Avenue Road. And that freight train is still going by. Wow. There's no crossing at the other side of the street, so I just have to come over to this side. And just in behind these buildings here is Ramsden Park. It's a very large and nice urban park that you could take over to Yonge Street. And just across the street from there will be Rosedale Subway Station. And this park here is named after J. McPherson Green. She's an old renowned poet. Well, I say old, but she's actually deceased. And I've said it a few times on this channel, but this is easily one of my favorite residential streets in the city. But I'm actually exploring this street here, Marlbrough Place, which I think turns into Marlborough Avenue. There's a look down McPherson, and I'll take this over to Yonge Street. And then from there, I'll just head up to Summerhill. So what's unique about this street is we have some rather nice homes on one side and the tracks on the other side. It's not much of a sound barrier, it looks like. And I think this is actually the backside of a few different homes on McPherson. Oh, here comes a car. You get a better view from the road of these homes. This is certainly a rather unique spot. I tried to look up the value of what these homes would go for. And there was a townhouse not too long ago that was listed for $2.5 million. And the highest priced detached home on the street has sold for $2.9 million. This is easily one of the more unique residential streets in the city. Here's some stairs. I wonder where they lead to. Probably up to the railway tracks. Oh, it looks like there's actually a trail up here. I'm sure I could follow that along, but there's a better view to be had down at street level. And as per this sign, Marlbrough, that's a hard word to pronounce, at least for me. Marlborough Avenue begins. Don't ask me to say that 5 times fast. Oh, we could have taken that path over to these steps here. And that off in the distance is Yonge Street. So once I get there, I'll turn north. I wonder what all this parking is for. No parking except by permit. Perhaps it's excess parking for the people on the street. The vehicles seem to have those City of Toronto parking permits in the windows, or rather windshields. And I don't know what this facility is. Oh, that is the York Rackets Club. You'd think for a private club in this location, they'd have a little bit nicer of a building facade at least. Certainly feels like I've stepped outside of the bustling city for a few minutes. It's a Titleist. And this is Avenue Road, or rather Avenue Yonge Street and Marlbrough. I won't even try to say it correctly. And there's a former location of Staples. They've moved up to where the art shop used to be in the new art shop condos up at Yonge and Eglinton. There's also a big Farm Boy in that building. And it looks like there's a new development plan for this location, which is probably why they moved. A 13-story mixed-use building with retail at grades and residential units up top is planned. So this has definitely been one of the quieter walks I've recorded in quite a while. But here we are at Yonge, and that is Price Street across Yonge, so it is not the same street, at least by name. There's the Summerhill LCBO. That is built on a rather grand old rail station. And every time I walk by, I always find myself wandering over to that side of the street just to get a closer look at it. So I'll do something different and stay over here. Those are the rail tracks that run parallel to Dupont for the most part. So I'll cross over to this street here, Shaftsbury Avenue, and I'll walk on into the Summerhill subway station.
Just a tangle.
Just to the east of here is a rather affluent residential neighborhood. The whole east side of Yonge Street from around Rosedale Station, or rather Bloor, all the way up to past St. Clair, form the Rosedale and Moore Park neighborhoods. I think that guy is doing his business in a bush over there. Let me pop my mask back on. And I will mosey on down to the Line 1 northbound platform. So there's where I started the walk at Dupont. And we just headed east over to Summerhill. And there's a very good chance there'll be no one down here on the train platform. Nope. This train is coming just for us. There's no one on the other side. This is one of the least used stations on Line 1, as is Rosedale, which is the stop just to the south of here. And I hope you enjoyed this walk. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.
Please stand clear of the doors. Next station is